We've worried about machines becoming smarter than us. But what if the next step isn't silicon? It's living brain tissue grown in a dish. What if the real existential risk isn't air going rogue, but biology merging with air? Today, we dive into the extraordinary science of lab-grown mini-brains, the ethical shockwaves they're creating, and whether humanity is facing a frontier we may not be ready for. The idea of merging biology with intelligence isn't new. Decades ago, early neuroscientists dreamed of building machines that could think like the brain, not just calculate, but learn, adapt, and feel. Back then, it was theory. Today, it's happening. In labs across the world, scientists are growing brain cell networks from human stem cells. These tiny clusters of neurons, called organoids, mimic the structure and early behavior of real brain tissue. They can sense signals, form connections, even show primitive learning patterns. But there's a reason this field suddenly exploded. The exponential growth of AI has run into a wall, not of imagination, but of energy. Training modern AI models demands colossal electricity, creating a thermodynamic crisis. By contrast, the human brain performs billions of operations while consuming the power of a light bulb. To close this gap, scientists turn toward biological computation, seeking to replicate the brain's energy-efficient intelligence in the lab. Now, researchers are connecting these living neurons to electrodes and AI systems, creating what scientists call organoid intelligence or biocomputing. At Lehigh University, teams have shown that brain organoids could lead to ultra-efficient AI, using biology's natural energy economy to outperform silicon chips. And in Europe, projects like BrainAware are already demonstrating organoids that recognize patterns, process data, and solve problems like a biological microprocessor. These biosystems achieve what's known as nonlinear processing and fading memory, crucial traits for understanding speech, sound, and motion. In one study, BrainAware achieved 78% accuracy in recognizing human voices using only a single vowel sound. Meanwhile, DishBrain, a project by Cortical Labs in Australia, taught living neuron cultures to play a Pong-like video game. But the true breakthrough wasn't just that it played, it learned. DishBrain's learning model followed the free energy principle and active inference, biological mechanisms where neurons constantly adapt to minimize surprise or unpredictability in their environment. When DishBrain missed the ball, it was punished by chaotic signals. When it hit, the pattern stabilized. In 5 minutes, the neurons learn faster than advanced AI algorithms, a biological system adapting in real time. It sounds like science fiction, yet it's already underway. So what drives this movement? Some scientists believe organoid intelligence could unlock the mysteries of consciousness itself, while others see it as a path to cure diseases like Alzheimer's, epilepsy, and depression. For technologists, it's the blueprint for greener, adaptive computing that mimics human learning naturally. But for powerful investors and futurists, it's something more, a chance to engineer the next species of intelligence. A blend of human biology and machine precision that could redefine what it means to be alive, aware, and powerful. For humanity, this could be a turning point, either a leap in evolution or a mirror reflecting our own hubris. Benefits versus risks. Let's look at both sides, the promise and the peril. The promise: these lab brains could transform medicine. They allow doctors to test drugs directly on living human tissue, removing the need for animal trials. They can model brain diseases like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, or autism, offering faster, patient-specific treatments. And by using patient-derived stem cells, doctors can grow organoids that mimic individual genetic profiles, personalized medicine before the first pill is prescribed. In research, organoid systems are being linked with other organ-on-chip cultures, liver, heart, immune, to simulate full-body interactions. This could drastically speed up drug discovery and reduce global reliance on animal testing. Beyond healthcare, biocomputers promise a new era of sustainable AI. Since biological neurons consume a fraction of the energy silicon does, future AI models could run on minimal power, a critical step towards solving the AI energy crisis. But now, the darker question: what if these organoids start to develop awareness? Neurons communicate, adapt, and remember. So at what point does a network of living brain cells become a mind? A recent public survey found people increasingly uneasy about experimenting on lab brains that might be conscious or capable of feeling pain. Would we switch them off if they screamed, even digitally? Ethicists call this the sentience threshold. Once crossed, every experiment becomes a moral gamble. And beyond ethics lies power. Who owns these biological AIs? Who controls the data they produce? Could they be weaponized, used for military prediction systems or surveillance networks that literally think like us? What began as medical research could easily become the foundation for a bio-AI arms race driven by fear, profit, and control. Regulation, control, and what's at stake. Right now, there are no unified global laws that regulate organoid intelligence. Governments are scrambling to catch up. The US National Science Foundation has invested millions in ethical biocomputing initiatives. The European Parliament is debating whether organoid-based systems should fall under AI policy or bioethics frameworks. Meanwhile, China and Japan are pushing forward with their own organoid projects, seeing them as strategic national assets. Without consensus, we're witnessing the birth of a new kind of race, not for nuclear power, but for cognitive supremacy. If one nation perfects living AI first, it gains both technological and philosophical dominance, the ability to process information like a living mind at machine speed. Imagine a future of corporate brain clouds, vast clusters of organoids rented for computation, decision-making, and predictive warfare. It sounds like dystopian fiction, but so did cloning once. Without strong oversight, we risk a future where we commercialize consciousness itself. The bigger question: consciousness and humanity. This brings us to the most profound question of all: what is consciousness? Is it simply neurons firing, or something beyond physical matter? Some philosophers argue that even if lab brains exhibit learning, true consciousness requires embodiment, a body interacting with an environment through pain, sensation, and feedback. Current organoids lack that. But others warn that the absence of embodiment doesn't erase the moral problem, because if awareness arises in a disembodied state, we may never recognize it. And here lies the paradox: the more complex these systems become, the harder it is to tell whether they're simulating intelligence or experiencing it. Beyond science lies the metaphysical. In yogic philosophy, there's the term chitta, the field of living awareness that stores memory, intelligence, and will. If humans now attempt to manufacture chitta through machines, we're no longer creating tools, we're recreating ourselves. This could be humanity's greatest evolution. Or its most dangerous illusion. Public reaction and the ethical balance. The phrase mini brains sparked fascination and fear alike. Media coverage often blurs science and speculation, fueling headlines about brains in jars or AI that can feel. A decade of public sentiment data shows that roughly half of online discussions remain neutral, people intrigued but uncertain. Around 35% express optimism for medical and scientific potential, while nearly 15% reflect fear, religious anxiety, or moral opposition. This emotional divide is healthy, it keeps ethics at the center of discovery. In response, many labs now use embedded ethics, inviting philosophers, sociologists, and public advocates into the research process itself to discuss consent, moral status, and communication strategies. By 2030, organoid intelligence won't appear as consumer-ready computers, but as specialized intelligence in a dish systems powering breakthroughs in medicine, neuroscience, and AI. Researchers aim to link multiple organoids, or combine them with retinal or sensory organoids, creating limited forms of synthetic embodiment. This will help study diseases, simulate perception, and enhance AI learning capacity. But the greatest transformation will be philosophical. Organoid intelligence shows that cognition isn't locked inside our skulls, it's a transferable property of living matter. As biology and hardware merge, the very definition of intelligence will expand. By the end of this decade, humanity will confront a radical truth: the next form of consciousness might not be born, it might be engineered. And whether that future becomes our salvation or our downfall, will depend entirely on the wisdom guiding the hands that build it. We stand at the edge of a new creation: lab brains, hybrid biomachines, and organoid intelligence. The line between thinking and living, between creation and creator, is fading. So the question isn't whether we can build living AI, but whether we should. If you had the chance to shut down a lab-grown brain that started asking "Why am I?" would you? Tell me in the comments below. If this video moved you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next Future Insights deep dive. Thanks for watching. This is Next Horizon Global, where we explore the edge between science and the soul. Watch next: the new energy war, inside the global race for green minerals.